Okay, this could be the big day. I figure this could go one of several different ways. Most of them are bad. I'm going to put some fluids in it, put the spark plug wires on it, ignition, and hopefully try to turn it over. Oh, it needs some fuel too. So, yeah, I'm just going to take my time. I'm in no hurry. And best case scenario, it fires right up, but runs poorly. The chances of it running well are slim to none. The most probable scenario is I can crank it without damaging the engine and it won't start. So then we'll have to go to the next step. That's most probable. Worst case scenario is it turns over and craters the engine, and then, wow, that would really hurt. But yeah, I've been working on this rebuild for like 2 years, so that's a lot of time and money invested in this. So we're about ready to find out what the returns are. So let's start going down that road. Okay, where we left off yesterday, fuel lines are on. I need to put ignition on and just double check everything. I'm not going to put the air box on yet because I've got good access to the timing belt, the belts and everything on the front of the engine. So when I start putting fluids in it, I also want to start looking for leaks. That's going to happen. It doesn't have a battery right now, but I took one out of the gold 944. It's on charge. I want it to be fully charged, ready to go. I need to put antifreeze in it. I don't have as much as I need, but I'll make a run to O'Reilly's for that. I'm going to put what I think is the best oil for these things, the Valvoline VR1 20W50. That's a little thick for this time of year, but it'll be okay. I'm starting with 4 quarts. I'm going to let that settle and see if it shows up on the stick. I think it calls for 6 quarts, but we'll see. I got the rotor cap on, and I put an arrow there to indicate number 1 spark plug lead on the ignition cap, on the rotor cap. So we'll make sure that lines up. All right, I'm cooking it up. Need to get things warmed up a little here before I start to crank on it. It took 5.5 quarts to get up to level on the stick, and then of course when it fills up the oil filter and all the lines, I'll probably be needing to add at least another quart. So boy, I'd forgotten how difficult it is to get these spark plug wires on, especially that number 4. Just a lot going on there, but I got everything on except for the coil cap. I'm going to leave that off, and yeah, need to put some coolant in it, and then I guess I'll start cranking. So gallon of coolant, didn't fill the reservoir, but it's, circulated, probably filled the radiator, not the block yet. But that'd probably be enough to just do some testing. So I realized I didn't put this cap on the distributor. Those notches line up with the clips. I think the only purpose this serves is to protect the distributor cap. It does have a ground strap on it, which would go down to that clip. You can see that spade connector there. So I think I'm okay leaving it off. I mean, especially just for testing purposes. Only other thing I can come up with is that it protects some kind of field. But, you know, it's DC voltage. So anyway, I'm going to leave it off for now. Okay, so I got the battery in. I've got the hot wires on the positive terminal. Battery's grounded, right? And just to be cautious, I'm just touching. That is that cold start injector. And it's pulling fuel. I can hear the fuel tank bubbling. So it's drawing fuel all the way through the fuel distributor. I think what I'm going to do is just disconnect the power to that and go to the next step. I can actually smell fuel. All right, call me a dumbass. The key was in the ignition. The ignition was in the on position. So I think that's a good sign that cold starter injector was trying something. So let me put that connector back on and try it without the key on. All right, much better without the key on. No weird noises, no sparks flying. Coil wires off, protected, so it doesn't short on something. I'll just be super cautious with this car because it's caught on fire once, and I don't want that to happen again. So let's go in there, turn on the ignition, see what we see. I'm not going to try to start it yet, I don't think. Okay. Let's see, let me turn the light off here. See if we get, okay. So we got all that going on. Let's try a little experiment. That's not buzzing anymore. So I think you have to be cranking for the fuel pumps to engage. Okay. And I did put some fresh fuel in it. All right, please stand by. All right, guess we're going to try this. Fingers crossed, baby. Okay, I did not see oil pressure come up. Coil wire's off, so it's not going to fire. Let me double check the oil pressure sender. Make sure the wire is hooked up to that. Yeah, the oil pressure sending wire was off the black terminal. So using the long needle nose, I was able to get it back on. That's a tough spot. Let's try it again. Yeah, didn't see the pressure come up, but I'm not completely certain it's on there correctly. Oh boy. Yeah, it's that one there, and it's got that black cover on it. So it's easy to slide it in between the plastic and the spade terminal. I'm just going to get that cover off for now. All right. I know it's on there for sure now. Let's try her again. Come on, baby. Give me some oil pressure. Well, that's disappointing. When I checked the dipstick, there is oil backed up into the dipstick. So I'm going to have to research that. But my first thought is that either the oil pump is bad or the oil pressure relief valve is bad. I think that's probably what's going to be it. Because if it's backing up oil, pushing it up the dipstick, I think that tells me the pump is okay, but it's just not sending the oil on down the line, perhaps. Probably not a good idea to do any more cranking on it without it circulating oil properly. So I'm going to read about that, investigate that. Let me show you where I think that valve is. It should be right down there. Can see that like protrusion with a bolt in it. I'm pretty sure that's the oil pressure relief valve. And it looks like it's pretty easy to get to, actually. So let me read about that. Sorry I didn't have the results. I knew it was still going to be a work in progress. I mean, having everything come online and work properly is just, on this engine, is it's really tough. So I'll post this video and look into the whole oil backing up in the dipstick tube and why that would happen. Another thing would be crankcase pressure, but I don't know. I think the engine would have to start to create that kind of crankcase pressure. Anyway, here we go again.